Hello and welcome to a Z.E.D video on lighters slash fire starting, common fire starters, which are lighters, matches. Before I talk about the main part, which is lighters, let's go over first why fire is important, and then a little bit about matches. Fire is important. It lets us cook food. It lets us make water drinkable that may otherwise be undrinkable. It can let us, have warmth by generating heat. So when it's cold outside, in a survival situation when it's cold, fire lets us have heat. Fire also is a bit of a security blanket. It makes you feel more comfortable. In a survival situation, when you have fire, you feel better. It's kind of like an uplifting thing. You have this source of heat, source of ability to cook food, source of defense also. Things generally don't want to come towards a fire. In terms of you could pick up a burning piece of wood and thwack somebody with it, and hitting them in the heat would hurt. I don't want to get hit by a burning piece of wood. So that peace of mind, the smoke it generates can help with bugs. It can signal people with fire. It's also a drawback to having a fire, like a campfire. I'll do a video on fires like that in the future. But I'm just talking about all the benefits of fire here. What else does fire do? It can help us heal in cauterization, if I did not say so already. I can't honestly remember if I did. But you can have fire, it can generate heat, you can heat up a metal rod. That's how they do branding. It's basically a cauterization type of thing without having a need for it. In a pinch, that can mean a difference between life and death. If you have a steady fire on hand and a piece of metal in it, if somebody really needs cauterization because they got hurt badly while retrieving food, for example, it can be done. I don't really recommend it, but if it's that or death, I would recommend that. It also can help clean tools and items. Part of sterilization, with things that sterilize, like autoclaves and everything like that, is, aside from the pressure, sometimes it's heat. Heat kills germs and bacteria, and fire does that, pretty well, being a source of heat. So having a fire can help you clean knives, help you clean a threading needle, for example, if you gotta use that in a pinch to sew somebody up. Another thing. You can make fire a variety of ways, but if part of your EDC kit, you should have matches or a lighter. So matches come in stick and book format. Why would you carry matches? Well, some people just like the way that it lights their cigarettes or whatever that they smoke. But also, in a survival situation, if you have matches, if you have them wrapped up properly so when they get wet, they won't get wet. Or if you have the survival matches that can strike at any surface and can survive being wet, if you have 7 of them, you have 7 different times in which you can reliably have an ignition source to make a fire. With lighters, you don't generally have a way of knowing how much fuel you have left before the lighter runs dry. So that's why I would say matches are a good thing to have, especially in like a kit. But lighters is the main source of this video. I'm not going to try to make it too long, but it's still going to be a bit of a lecture, so expect some length here. Lighters come as butane, which is a gas, disposable type of lighters, and a Zippo lighter. Now, I don't have much experience with butane lighters. I used them a couple of times. I do believe they can be refillable. I don't really know if any disposable lighters offhand are butane at all. Once I got my Zippo, I stopped even looking at disposable lighters, so I don't have one on hand to show you. A disposable lighter, you can buy in bulk. They tend to have child safety mechanisms on them, which make them kind of annoying. I think the last one I used, on the front of it had this little black switch you gotta flick to one side to I guess it's a safety thing. And then on the striking area, which I'll show you here, this thing it's wider and it has a metal thing that goes over it. You have to push that down in order to get to the thing to make a spark. And then there's a button. When you do that, you push down and hold the button down, and that lets the fuel come out in the form of vapor, I believe, and light. So it's just a little tedious, and then if you mess that up, you gotta the switch automatically flicks itself back, and you have to reflick it again, and it gets annoying. And then you have Zippos and Zippo type. This is a Zippo. I carry this every day. It's got my zodiac sign, that's why I carry it. And polished back and top. In case you never encountered a Zippo, they come like this. You take this out, that's where your flint goes. You unscrew it to put it in if you need more. You fold this back, you take your lighter fluid and you fill it up carefully onto this cotton. And then once it's full, hold a little bit, put this back down, put this back in, and then I recommend striking it to let it run. It'll make like a popping sound. It's not doing it now, but it'll make a popping sound. I do that just to get some excess out, and then when you're done, you just close it like that. What happened was it bounced back because of this, so the fire looked like it was burning it, but it's not. It didn't burn anything. So you close it and that turns it off. Now if you don't leave it closed and you automatically open it again real quick afterwards, let's see if I can replicate it. This is also a problem with Zippos sometimes. Like that, it comes back on. So if you really want it, do that. Now you notice too a couple of strikes of light. That's a sign that I may be getting low of fuel. And that happens with Zippos, more so than with disposables, is that it uses up fuel quicker. Because it's not some airtight system. You're just pretty much using cotton that absorbed it to transfer the fuel upwards into a little wick type of thing here to get struck and lit like that. So that's how the Zippo lighter works, and others that make it in a similar style. Which one should you carry? I'm not going to talk about butane. I'm not a big fan of the gas lighters. I think they were more of a fad that kind of died out. But I would recommend disposable lighters if you have to carry with the express idea of survival in mind in terms of a zombie event. Can you survive and carry one of these and properly maintain it, but making sure you have the fuel for the lighter fuel and extra flint in your kit? Yes, you can. It's a little bit more tedious, but you can do it. And a lighter fuel can serve in a pinch to help you light a fire. But a disposable lighter is just easier way to go, and that's what I would recommend. Now, if this gets wet, severely wet, you're going to have to let it dry out and then refuel it again. Also, it'll naturally dry itself out because it's pretty much, just pulling the fuel towards that wick, and then it's just evaporating out slowly, especially when it's open. So over time, it can just dry itself out. So that's another reason why I suggest disposable lighters. They won't really dry themselves out. You can't really do that. Now, I don't know how reliable in terms of airtightness disposable lighters are. So could it, in theory, slowly bleed out its fuel in the way a Zippo does? Maybe. Like I said, I'm no expert on disposable lighters, but it definitely lasts a lot longer in terms of the fuel it has. Now with Zippos, you buy a lighter once and you buy the fuel afterwards, and you can use it for a long time and not have to worry about. Whereas with disposables, once you use it, it's pretty much gone. It's done. Not pretty much. It is gone. You throw it out, get another one. Hence disposable. However, if you're gonna get a lighter like this because you think it looks cool, that's honestly one of the reasons why I have it. I recommend getting one with a polished, either a gold look, or in this case, it's stainless steel, but a silver type of polish look like this, or stainless. I don't recommend the colored or the textured all the way around. The reason I don't is for zombie survival in mind. What I can do with this is I can catch a light, and I can, like I'm doing right now, and I can kind of signal somebody, especially if I tell them, listen, I have a way of reflecting light for a signal. It's not going to be as strong as a signal mirror, or a bigger mirror, but it can work, and it's a silent way to signal. It's not super critical, but it's just one extra way you can help signal. And if you don't happen to have a signal mirror on hand, or you just don't have one, it could work in a pinch as that. But that doesn't work at all if it's got a textured back or if it's colored and not polished. So I recommend getting something like this. Besides, I think these look a little classier anyway. If you're going for looks, I think this looks a little better. Remember, we're talking about zombie survival in this case. Now, I didn't get this lighter with zombie survival in mind. I got it because I liked the way it looked. But it can still work. It has a little more upkeep than a standard disposable lighter. Well, that went on long enough, I think. So we're going to end it here. It's just the basics on lighters and how they work, I guess. In case you're wondering, it was pretty straightforward. Now, make sure you're following the proper rules and procedures for where you live. I don't know per se if there's a age limit for lighters. I imagine there is something like that. So be sure you follow all the proper rules and laws and all that before you go getting fire starting tools like lighters or matches. And use them properly. Don't abuse them. They can burn you. You're making fire. Fire doesn't care what you're doing, what it is. It's going to burn it if it can. It's just going to consume the fuel, whether it's your hand, your house, your car, somebody you know, it's anything. So keep that in mind. It's just because it comes with a lighter, it doesn't know fire isn't sentient. It doesn't know that it's your hand and not a piece of wood or something. So keep that in mind. Anyway, that's it here. I will be doing videos on fires in the future as well, and talking about the strengths and weaknesses of having a fire in your camp, for example, during the zombie event. So, that being said, until the next one, stay safe and take care.